The school day should have been ordinary. Kids shuffle into their classrooms, chatter fills the hallways, and lockers slam shut in a rhythm everyone knows too well. But in room 203 of Riverton Middle School, something happens that will set the entire city on fire. 12-year-old Maya Coleman sits at her desk quietly, her long braids cascading over her shoulders. She loves her hair. It connects her to her mother, to her heritage, to every proud moment she shared with her family. That morning, her father, Agent Marcus Coleman of the FBI, kissed her forehead and teased, "Don't let anyone dim that shine, baby girl." Maya smiled, never imagining how those words would be tested just hours later. At the front of the classroom, Ms. Hargrove, a middle-aged white teacher known for her sharp tongue and colder heart, narrows her eyes at Maya. She's never liked Maya's confidence, her laughter, or the way the other students look up to her, and today, her disdain boils over. "Your hair is distracting," Ms. Hargrove snaps, her voice slicing through the room. The class falls silent. Maya blinks in confusion. "Excuse me?" "You heard me," the teacher says, striding toward her desk. "Those braids are too much. They're messy, unprofessional. You think this is a fashion show? This is a classroom." Maya's cheeks burn. She whispers, "But my hair is neat. My mom braided it last night." Laughter ripples nervously through the class, not at Maya, but at the sheer absurdity of the teacher's words. Ms. Hargrove, sensing her authority slipping, makes a decision that will change everything. Before Maya can react, the teacher grabs a pair of scissors from her desk. Gasps erupt across the room. "No!" Maya cries, but Ms. Hargrove grips a braid and with a sharp snip, cuts it clean. The room freezes. Maya's classmates stare in horror. Some cover their mouths. One boy mutters, "She really did that." Another girl whispers, "That's so wrong." Tears well in Maya's eyes as she touches the uneven strands left behind. Her heart pounds, shame flooding every part of her. Why? Why would you do that? Ms. Hargrove tosses the braid into the trash. "Maybe now you'll learn respect. Maybe now you'll look like you belong." Silence hangs heavy. The bell rings, but no one moves. Phones are out. Students record the entire incident. The footage is already spreading beyond the classroom. Maya runs from the room, sobbing, clutching her books to her chest. She hides in the bathroom, staring at the mirror, hands trembling as she touches the jagged ends of her hair. Her reflection feels broken. In the hallway, whispers fly. "Did you see what she did? That's going viral. Her dad's FBI, right? He's not going to let this slide." And they're right, because within minutes, the video is online. Within an hour, parents are calling the school. And by the time Marcus Coleman gets the call from the principal's office, the footage has already reached his phone. He watches in disbelief as the screen shows his daughter crying, the teacher smirking, the scissors flashing. His hand clenches into a fist. His voice is ice when he mutters, "She touched my child's dignity. She's going to answer for it." Marcus storms out of his FBI office, badge glinting under the fluorescent lights. Colleagues glance up, sensing the storm in his eyes. No one dares stop him. Back at Riverton Middle, chaos brews. Parents gather in the lobby, furious. Students refuse to enter classrooms chanting, "Justice for Maya." Teachers exchange worried glances, realizing the situation has spiraled beyond control. In the principal's office, Ms. Hargrove sits stiffly, arms crossed. "This is ridiculous," she mutters. "It was just hair. Kids exaggerate everything." The principal rubs his temples, sweat beading his forehead. "Do you have any idea what you've done? The FBI is calling. The media is outside. This isn't just about hair. This is about humiliation." But Ms. Hargrove scoffs. "She needed discipline. That girl thinks she's special. Maybe now she'll learn." The door bursts open. Marcus Coleman strides in, suit immaculate, badge clipped to his belt, fury radiating from him. Maya, still tear-streaked, sits in the corner, her mother's arm wrapped protectively around her. Marcus's voice is low, controlled, but deadly. "You cut my daughter's hair." Ms. Hargrove shifts uncomfortably but sneers. "It's not a big deal. She was out of line." Marcus steps closer, eyes locked on hers. "You humiliated a child. You attacked her identity. You think it's not a big deal? You just picked a fight you can't win." The room crackles with tension. Parents outside pound on the doors, demanding justice. Reporters push against the glass, cameras flashing, and for the first time Ms. Hargrove realizes this is no longer about a braid. This is about a city, an FBI agent, and a father who will not rest until dignity is restored, because arrogance cut a child's hair, But justice is about to cut deeper. The principal's office feels like it's caving in. The muffled roar of parents outside rattles the glass, the rhythmic pounding of fists on the doors echoing like drums of judgment. Inside, the air is thick with tension. Maya sits quietly, her mother's arm wrapped around her, tears still streaming down her face. Her braid, the one Ms. Hargrove had cut, lies in the trash can like discarded evidence. Marcus Coleman doesn't blink. He stands tall, his FBI badge glinting under the fluorescent lights. His voice is steady but dangerous, the kind of tone that promises consequences. "You humiliated my daughter," he says, staring directly at Ms. Hargrove. "You crossed a line no teacher, no adult, no human being should ever cross." Ms. Hargrove shifts uneasily but clings to arrogance like armor. She needed discipline. That hair was a distraction. The classroom is not a place for showing off. Marcus's eyes narrow. "Discipline?" He steps closer. "You don't discipline children by assaulting them. You don't enforce order by destroying who they are. That wasn't discipline, that was hate." The principal finally speaks, voice trembling. "Marcus, please, let's calm down. We can investigate, review the footage." Marcus cuts him off, his voice sharp. "Investigate? The entire country is already watching the footage. You don't need an investigation, you need accountability, now." Outside, chants grow louder. Students who recorded the incident have shown their parents and the crowd has swelled. "Justice for Maya! Justice for Maya!" Ms. Hargrove scoffs, though her voice shakes. "This is absurd. It's just hair. People are overreacting." Maya finally looks up, her voice trembling but firm. "It's not just hair. It's me. It's my mom's hands braiding it every night. It's my culture. It's everything you tried to throw in the trash." Her words pierce the room like lightning. Even the principal leans back, stunned. Marcus's jaw clenches, pride and fury mixing in his eyes. He turns back to Ms. Hargrove. "You hear that? Out of the mouth of a child, you hear the truth. You didn't cut hair, you cut dignity, and now you'll face the consequences." The door bursts open. Reporters push forward, microphones raised, cameras flashing. Security tries to hold them back, but the noise spills into the room. "Agent Coleman, what will happen to the teacher?" "Maya, do you want justice?" "Is the FBI involved?" Marcus raises a hand, silencing the chaos with nothing but presence. "You want a statement? Here it is. My daughter was attacked, and I will use every tool at my disposal, father, FBI agent, citizen, to ensure this never happens again. Not to her, not to any child." The parents outside erupt in cheers. The chants grow deafening. "Not to any child! Not to any child!" Ms. Hargrove pales, finally realizing the tide has turned against her. She whispers, This is blown out of proportion." Marcus leans forward, his voice a razor's edge. "The only thing blown out of proportion is your ego, and it's about to be cut down to size." The superintendent arrives, sweat glistening on his brow. He pushes through the crowd, holding papers in his hand. "Mr. Coleman, Mrs. Coleman, Ms. Hargrove, effective immediately, the teacher is suspended pending termination. The board will meet tonight, but I assure you, this behavior has no place in Riverton schools." The crowd outside roars in approval. Maya breathes shakily, relief mixing with lingering pain. Her mother kisses her forehead. But Marcus isn't finished. He steps into the hallway, flanked by cameras. His voice carries like a storm. "This isn't just about one teacher. This is about every classroom where children are told they don't belong. This is about every student who hides who they are because of arrogance. Today, Riverton says enough. Today, we cut the lies, not the children." The crowd erupts. Parents chant his name. Students lift their phones, live streaming every word. Within minutes, the footage trends online. #justice for Maya, #cut the lies, #dignity not discipline. That night, the video dominates national news. Anchors replay the moment again and again, the scissors flashing, Maya's tears, Marcus's confrontation. Commentators call it a turning point in education. Civil rights leaders flood social media with support. But in a small, dark apartment, Ms. Hargrove sits alone, scrolling through the storm she created. Her face is plastered across every screen, her arrogance immortalized. She mutters to herself, "It was just hair," but deep down she knows it was never just hair. Back at the Coleman home, Maya sits on her bed as her parents comfort her. She runs her fingers through the uneven ends of her hair. Her father kneels beside her. "Baby girl, listen to me. They can cut your hair, but they can't cut your worth. You're stronger than this. stronger than them. Maya sniffles but nods, her eyes fierce despite the tears. Then let's make sure no one else ever feels like I did today. Marcus hugs her tightly, whispering, "That's exactly what we'll do." And as the city of Riverton hums with chants outside, it becomes clear, this isn't the end of Maya's story. It's the beginning of a movement that will shake schools, courts, and the entire nation. Because arrogance picked up scissors, but justice just picked up a voice. By the next morning, the Coleman family wakes up to a world they didn't expect. Their phones buzz relentlessly with notifications. Messages flood in from friends, strangers, even activists they've never met. News vans line the street outside their house. Reporters shout questions whenever Marcus steps out the front door. Inside, Maya sits at the kitchen table, scrolling through videos on her tablet. She sees herself everywhere. Her tear-streaked face, her trembling words, the braid being cut, her father standing tall in the principal's office. The hashtags flood her feed. #justice. For Maya, #dignity. Not discipline, #cut. The lies. She sighs, setting the tablet down. "Dad, I didn't want to be famous." Marcus kneels beside her, his hand steady on her shoulder. "You're not famous for what they did to you. You're known for how strong you were. That's different." Her mother adds softly, "Sometimes we don't choose the fight, Maya. Sometimes the fight chooses us." Meanwhile, at Riverton Middle School, chaos reigns. Parents gather outside demanding answers. Students refuse to enter classrooms. Instead, they hold a sit-in in the gymnasium, chanting, "Justice for Maya, protect our kids." Teachers whisper nervously in the hallways, unsure how to face their students. The principal issues a public statement on live television. "The actions taken by Ms. Hargrove do not reflect our values. She has been suspended pending termination. We are working with community leaders to ensure this never happens again." But his words feel hollow against the roar of the crowd. Parents shout back, "Not enough! Accountability now!" In Washington, civil rights leaders seize the moment. On the steps of the Capitol, one declares, "This is not about one teacher. This is about every child who has been told their culture is wrong, their identity is wrong, their existence is wrong, and we will not be silent anymore." Clips of his speech go viral. Maya's story has become more than a local scandal. It's now a national reckoning. At the FBI field office, Marcus's colleagues gather around him. Some clap him on the back. "We saw you, Marcus. You stood tall." Another adds, "The Bureau is watching this closely. You've put us in the spotlight too." Marcus replies firmly, "I didn't put us here. Arrogance did. And I'll stand in that spotlight until justice is done." Meanwhile, Ms. Hargrove hides in her home, curtains drawn. Reporters camp outside her yard, demanding comment. Online, her name trends with scorn. Former students share stories of her cruelty. One writes, "She humiliated me for my accent in 7th grade. Maya wasn't the first, she was just the one who exposed it. The weight of her past closes in." But still, she mutters to herself, "It was just hair." Back at the Coleman house, community leaders visit. Pastors, activists, even local officials fill the living room. They want to turn Maya's ordeal into change. One pastor says, "We're organizing a march, not just for Maya, but for every child who's been scarred by arrogance in classrooms. Will you join us?" Marcus doesn't hesitate. "Yes, we'll stand." Maya looks up from the couch, her voice quiet but steady. "Can I march too?" Her mother hesitates, but Marcus nods. "This began with you, baby girl. If you want to walk, you'll walk at the front." The room falls silent, moved by her courage. 2 days later, Riverton's streets overflow with people. Students, parents, teachers, clergy, thousands carry candles and signs. Dignity, not discipline. Our culture is not a distraction. Justice for Maya. Maya walks at the front, her parents on either side. Her uneven hair catches the glow of candlelight, no longer a mark of shame but a badge of resilience. Strangers chant her name. Some cry, others clap, all united by her strength. Reporters broadcast live. Anchors say, what began with scissors in a classroom has erupted into a citywide movement. Riverton has become ground zero for dignity in education. At the march's end, a stage is set up outside City Hall. Marcus steps to the microphone first. His FBI badge gleams under the lights, his voice thunderous. "They tried to cut my daughter's pride, but look around you. They only cut their own power. Tonight we say enough. Tonight we declare no child will ever again be told they don't belong." The crowd roars, "Enough! Enough!" Then, to everyone's surprise, Maya steps forward. Her small hands grip the microphone, her voice trembling but growing stronger with every word. They thought they could make me small, but I'm not small, I'm not invisible. I'm strong. And so are you. The plaza erupts in cheers, louder than anything heard that night. Strangers chant her words back to her. Not invisible. Strong. The image of Maya standing at the microphone, hair jagged but eyes blazing, spreads across the world. Commentators call it the moment a child's pain became a nation's promise. That night, as candles burn down and chants echo into the darkness, Riverton realizes this isn't just about one classroom. It's about every child in every classroom, everywhere. Because arrogance picked up scissors, but dignity picked up a city. The march outside Riverton City Hall doesn't end when the candles burn low. Even after families go home and news vans leave, something lingers in the air, a spark too powerful to fade. By the next morning, Riverton has become the epicenter of a storm that is sweeping across the country. National networks lead with the same headline. From classroom to movement, Maya Coleman's story shakes America. Clips of Maya's trembling but powerful words play on repeat. I'm not invisible. I'm strong. In their kitchen, the Coleman family watches the coverage. Maya, still groggy from the night before, hides her face in her hands. I can't believe everyone's watching me. Her mother strokes her back. They're watching because you gave them courage. Don't ever be ashamed of that. Marcus adds, his voice firm. They didn't just see you, Maya. They saw themselves. At Riverton Middle School, the fallout is immediate. Parents flood the office with demands. Teachers hold emergency meetings. Students stage walkouts, refusing to enter classrooms until new protections are promised. Hallways that once echoed with silence now roar with chants. Justice for Maya. The principal scrambles to restore order, but he's overwhelmed. In desperation, he calls Marcus. Please, he pleads over the phone, tell the students to go back to class. We'll handle Ms. Hargrove. We'll issue apologies. Marcus's reply is icy. Apologies don't change systems. Words without action are just noise. You created the storm. Now stand in it. Meanwhile, Ms. Hargrove's world collapses. She is officially terminated, her teaching license suspended. But the punishment doesn't end there. Videos of her arrogance go viral, spawning memes, talk show debates, and even late-night comedy sketches. Her name becomes synonymous with cruelty. In her small apartment, she scrolls through endless articles, her face plastered across every screen. She mutters bitterly, "It was just hair," but the words sound emptier each time. Back in Riverton, community leaders seize momentum. Pastors, activists, and parents gather in the Coleman living room. The air buzzes with determination. This is bigger than Riverton, one pastor says. We can take this national. Policies, protections, curriculum reform. This is our chance. Marcus listens carefully, his jaw set. Then let's make it bigger. But not just words on paper. Real change. Because my daughter won't be a headline today and forgotten tomorrow. The group agrees, forming the Coalition for Dignity in Education. Their mission, to ensure what happened to Maya never happens again. Anywhere. Within days, rallies spread. Cities across America hold candlelight vigils. Parents and children share their own stories of humiliation in classrooms. Hashtags trend again. Not invisible, strong like. Maya, dignity in schools. In Washington, lawmakers take notice. A congresswoman introduces the Dignity in Education Act, inspired directly by Riverton's protests. On the House floor, she holds up a photo of Maya at the microphone. This child reminded us that dignity belongs in every classroom. If we can legislate safety drills and testing standards, we can legislate respect. Applause fills the chamber. The bill gains traction. But resistance grows too. Critics sneer on talk shows. We're overreacting, it was just a haircut. Others accuse Marcus of exploiting his daughter's pain. The backlash is sharp, but it only fuels supporters' determination. One evening, Marcus addresses a packed town hall meeting. Cameras broadcast live. His voice booms with controlled fire. They said it was just hair, but it was never just hair. It was culture. It was identity. It was every braid tied with love, every strand carrying history. And when arrogance cut it, it cut dignity. That's why we fight. That's why we won't stop. The crowd roars. Parents chant, "Won't stop! Won't stop!" Maya watches from the front row, her uneven hair hidden beneath a head wrap her grandmother gave her. She feels the chants vibrating through her chest. For the first time since that awful moment in class, she smiles without hesitation. Meanwhile, FBI headquarters summons Marcus for a meeting. Some worry his activism threatens the Bureau's image, but his supervisor surprises him. "Coleman," she says, sliding a file across the table, "we've had complaints before about racial incidents in schools. You turned it into action. Off the record, what you're doing matters." Marcus leaves the meeting more determined than ever. He knows he's not just a father fighting for his child anymore. He's a federal agent with the credibility to push real reform. At home, Maya struggles with nightmares. She dreams of scissors flashing, of laughter echoing. One night she wakes up crying. Marcus rushes to her side, holding her close. "They can cut hair," he whispers, "but they can't cut who you are. You're whole, you're strong, and you're not alone." She sniffles, pressing against his chest. "Then let's keep fighting. For the kids who don't have dads in the FBI." His heart swells with pride. "That's exactly what we'll do." By the end of the week, Riverton's plaza is filled again. Thousands gather, candles glowing, banners waving. But this time, the chants are not just for Maya. They're for every child who has been silenced, mocked, or shamed. On stage, Marcus and Maya stand together. She grips the microphone, her voice clear. "You thought you cut me down, but you only made me louder. You thought I was small, but I am not invisible. I am strong, and tonight, so are all of you." The crowd explodes with cheers. The chant rolls across Riverton. "Not invisible, strong." And as the cameras beam the image across the world, it becomes clear. This is no longer a story of one classroom. It's the story of a movement. Because arrogance thought it could silence a child, but instead, it gave her a megaphone. The chants from Riverton's plaza echo long into the night. Even after the crowd disperses, the city feels different, charged, awake. It's as if every corner now hums with the words, "Not invisible, strong." The next morning, Maya walks into school with her parents at her side. Reporters crowd the sidewalks, snapping photos, asking questions. "Maya, how do you feel today?" "Mr. Coleman, will the FBI investigate this?" Marcus shields his daughter with a protective arm, but Maya surprises him. She lifts her chin, looks directly into the cameras, and says clearly, "I'm here to learn, not to be humiliated, and I won't stop speaking until every kid can say the same." Her classmates erupt in applause. Teachers, caught between awe and shame, step aside as she enters the building. In the classroom, however, the atmosphere is tense. Desks are filled, but whispers ripple through the room. The empty chair at the front, Ms. Hargrove's old spot, looms like a shadow. A substitute teacher clears her throat nervously and begins the lesson, but no one really listens. During lunch, Maya sits with her friends. One leans close, whispering, "My mom cried watching your speech. She said you spoke for her too." Another adds, "I'm sorry I didn't say anything when it happened. I was scared." Maya nods softly. "Me too. But we're not scared anymore." Word spreads quickly. The students are planning their own march, without adults this time. Inspired by Maya, they want to show the world that children have voices too. Meanwhile, Marcus is summoned again to FBI headquarters. Some higher-ups are uneasy. "Coleman, your activism is blurring lines. You're not just a father, you're an agent. Be careful how far you take this." Marcus's jaw tightens. "With respect, sir, I didn't blur the lines. They did. When a teacher turned scissors into a weapon against a child's dignity. I'm not just an agent, I'm a father, and I'll stand in both roles until this ends." The room falls silent. His supervisor finally says, "Then make sure you win, because the world is watching." Back in Riverton, the Coalition for Dignity in Education expands. Parents from across the state join. Lawyers volunteer to represent families. Churches open their doors for meetings. The movement grows from a local fire into a regional blaze. But with growth comes resistance. Talk show hosts mock Maya's words, calling her just a kid. Online trolls flood social media with cruel comments. One post sneers, "It's only hair, get over it." Marcus sees the comments late one night. His fists clench, but Maya peeks over his shoulder. She reads quietly, then looks at him with surprising calm. "Dad, let them talk. Every mean word just makes me stronger." He stares at her, stunned by her resilience. "You're braver than most adults I know." A week later, the students' march begins. Hundreds of kids from Riverton and nearby towns pour into the streets, carrying handmade signs. "Our hair, our pride. Respect is not optional. We are strong." Maya leads them, Her head still uneven but uncovered, her steps steady. Chants echo from every block. Parents line the sidewalks, tears streaming as they watch their children take the streets. Reporters describe it as the first student-led dignity march in modern history. At the rally's end, Maya takes the stage. Her voice carries, amplified not just by microphones but by courage. You told us we were too young to matter. You told us to stay quiet, but look at us now. We are not invisible. We are strong. And if you don't listen, we'll keep shouting until you do. The crowd of children roars back. Not invisible! Strong! The footage spreads nationwide. On television screens, commentators marvel. This isn't just a protest, it's a generational uprising. In Washington, lawmakers push harder for the Dignity in Education Act. Hearings fill with parents and students telling their stories. Maya's video is played in Congress, her words etched into the record. One congresswoman says, "This child reminded us of something adults forgot. Dignity is not negotiable." But as momentum builds, Marcus knows the fight isn't over. He receives another anonymous threat slipped under his office door. "Stop parading your daughter around. Next time we won't cut hair, we'll cut deeper." He hides the note from Maya, but the weight presses heavy. At night he sits awake, watching his daughter sleep, vowing silently, "They will never touch her again. Not while I'm breathing." The following Sunday, Riverton holds a unity service at a local church. Families pack the pews, candles glowing, choirs singing. Maya sits in the front row, her uneven hair wrapped in a scarf her grandmother gave her. When the pastor invites her to speak, she rises slowly. The room falls silent. "I used to think being different made me weak," she says softly. "But now I know. It makes me strong. And if someone tries to cut you down, don't hide. Stand taller. Because dignity can't be cut. It only grows." The congregation rises to its feet, applause shaking the rafters. That night, national headlines proclaim, "Child turns pain into power, Maya Coleman inspires a nation." And in Riverton, under the glow of candlelight and the echo of chants, one truth becomes undeniable. Arrogance picked up scissors, but dignity picked up a generation. The student-led march changes everything. By Monday morning, Riverton isn't just a city, it's a headline. News outlets across the country play endless loops of children marching with signs, chanting "Not invisible, strong." The footage of Maya, her voice trembling yet unbreakable, becomes an emblem of courage. In classrooms from New York to Los Angeles, teachers pause their lessons to play the clip. Children watch in awe as one of their own speaks truth to power. Parents email schools demanding reforms. Principals scramble to issue statements, fearing they could be the next Riverton. At the Coleman home, the weight of it all grows heavier. Maya sits at the kitchen table, scrolling through her phone. Every swipe reveals new comments, some supportive, others cruel. One says, "You're a hero, Maya." Another sneers, "Attention seeker." She sighs, pushing the phone aside. "Dad, why do people hate me when I didn't do anything wrong?" Marcus leans forward, his expression grave but gentle. "Because truth makes arrogant people uncomfortable. But listen to me, those voices are loud, but they're not strong. The ones that matter are the kids who now believe they have power because of you." Her mother adds softly, "You've already won, Maya. Look at how many are marching with you." Still, the sting of the hateful words lingers. Meanwhile, in Washington, the Dignity in Education Act moves forward. Lawmakers hold hearings packed with parents and students. Civil rights leaders testify. The chamber buzzes with urgency. One senator lifts a photo of Maya and declares, "This child reminded us that dignity is not negotiable. We cannot delay justice any longer." But lobbyists push back. On talk shows, critics sneer, "We're turning classrooms into battlegrounds over feelings. This is too much." The backlash spreads online, fueling further division. Yet the supporters are louder. Hashtags surge again. Nhat Maya strong. Shahad dignity. In schools, Hatch not invisible. Back in Riverton, the Coalition for Dignity in Education grows exponentially. Parents from across the state pour in. Churches organize carpools. Lawyers volunteer pro bono hours. What started as one child's humiliation has exploded into a statewide movement. One night, the coalition holds a mass meeting in a high school gymnasium. The bleachers overflow with families, students, teachers, even reporters. Marcus steps onto the stage, the crowd erupting in applause. "They said it was just hair," he begins, his voice carrying through the rafters. "But what they cut wasn't strands, it was dignity. And tonight, look around you. They tried to silence a child. Instead, they gave birth to a movement. The gym shakes with chants. Not invisible, strong. Then Maya is invited on stage. She hesitates at first, but the roar of the crowd urges her forward. Taking the microphone, she says, "I thought I was small, but when I saw all of you stand for me, I realized I'm not alone. None of us are." The crowd leaps to its feet, clapping, chanting her name. That night, footage of the rally spreads nationwide. Anchors call it the moment a child became a leader. But in the shadows, danger brews. Marcus receives another anonymous message. This one is a photo of his family with the words, "Enough. Stay silent or we'll make you." The threat chills him to his core, but he hides it from Maya. He knows arrogance doesn't surrender, it retaliates. Still, he vows to protect his family no matter what. The next day, Riverton Middle reopens with heightened security. Police officers patrol the halls, parents linger outside. The superintendent holds a press conference announcing new policies for cultural respect and anti-bias training. Yet many students remain skeptical. Inside the cafeteria, Maya sits with her friends. Whispers ripple around her. Some students admire her courage. Others are resentful of the attention. One boy sneers, "You think you're famous now, huh?" Maya stiffens but remembers her father's words. "I don't want to be famous," she replies calmly. "I want to be respected, just like you." The boy falls silent, unable to argue. Meanwhile, Marcus prepares for another battle. He's invited to testify before Congress about the need for national protections. Sitting at the dinner table, he tells Maya, "They want me to speak in Washington. They want me to tell your story." Maya's eyes widen. "Our story." Marcus smiles, pride swelling in his chest. "You're right, our story." When the day comes, he sits before the congressional panel, cameras flashing. Holding up a photo of Maya, he says, "This is my daughter. She was told she didn't belong, but every child deserves dignity, and I won't rest until it's guaranteed in every classroom in America." The room erupts in applause. Lawmakers lean forward, moved by his words. Commentators later say, it was the testimony that sealed the bill's fate. Back in Riverton, Maya watches from home with her mother. Tears fill her eyes. "That's my dad." Her mom hugs her tightly. "That's our family." That evening, as the sun sets, Riverton's plaza fills again. Candles glow, chants echo, and families sing. Maya stands in the center, head held high, uneven hair uncovered, no longer a symbol of shame, but of strength. She whispers to herself, "Not invisible, strong." And the city answers back, voices rolling like thunder. Not invisible, strong, because arrogance thought it could cut a child down, but instead, it lifted a nation up. The congressional testimony marks a new phase in the movement. Within days, Maya's photo appears on the cover of national magazines. Headlines read, "The girl who sparked a revolution in education." Talk shows invite Marcus to share his perspective, while civil rights leaders publicly align themselves with the Coleman family. But for Maya, fame feels heavy. At school, whispers follow her everywhere. Some classmates treat her like a hero, others avoid her entirely, resentful of the attention. During math class, a girl mutters under her breath, "She's the reason reporters keep swarming the school." Maya clenches her fists but remembers her father's words. Truth makes arrogant people uncomfortable. She sits taller, refusing to let the comment cut her down. After school, she tells her mom, "I didn't ask for any of this. I just wanted to be normal." Her mother hugs her gently. "Baby, sometimes normal isn't enough. Sometimes you're called to be more." Meanwhile, in Washington, the Dignity in Education Act gains momentum. Lawmakers from both parties co-sponsor it, citing Maya's case as a turning point. Hearings fill with testimonies from parents across the country who share stories of their children being humiliated, mocked, or excluded in classrooms. Each story strengthens the urgency. Opposition, however, grows louder. Critics on television call the bill overreach, claiming it burdens teachers. One commentator sneers, "We're legislating hair now?" Marcus watches the segment in his office, fury in his eyes. He mutters, "They still don't get it." But outside Riverton, the movement grows unstoppable. Students in other states stage walkouts, parents organize vigils, social media explodes with solidarity. A new hashtag trends worldwide, #Maya Movement. One evening, Riverton hosts a candlelight vigil that surpasses all previous gatherings. Tens of thousands fill the plaza, their chants echoing for miles. Banners wave. Respect is a right. Our culture is not a distraction. On stage, Marcus addresses the crowd. They tried to cut a child down, but instead they lifted her higher. Tonight, we say enough, for every child in every classroom in every corner of this nation. The crowd roars, voices shaking the night. Then Maya steps forward, her small frame illuminated by candlelight. She holds the microphone with both hands, her voice steady. They told me I was too loud, too proud, too different. But look around us now. We are all different, and that's what makes us strong. You can't cut that. You can't throw it away. You can only let it shine. The crowd erupts, chants thunder. Let it shine, let it shine. The next morning, footage of the vigil plays on international networks. Reporters in Europe, Asia, and Africa share Maya's words. One anchor in London declares, "This is no longer an American story. It's global." But with fame comes new danger. Marcus receives yet another anonymous threat, more chilling than the last. A letter slid under his office door reads, "Next time, the scissors won't stop at hair." His jaw tightens. He hides the letter from Maya, but the fear gnaws at him. He upgrades security at their home, arranges escorts to school, and begins carrying his firearm even off duty. At the same time, Ms. Hargrove, the disgraced teacher, resurfaces. In a local interview, she defends herself bitterly. "It was just hair. People are ruining my life over nothing." The interview backfires spectacularly. Social media explodes with outrage. Former students flood timelines with their own stories of her cruelty. One writes, "She mocked my accent." Another adds, "She tore up my art in front of the class." Her pattern of humiliation is laid bare for the world. Back at Riverton Middle, the students rally again. They paint murals on the school's walls, bright images of braids, candles, and the words, "Not invisible, strong." The art transforms the building from a place of pain into a place of pride. One afternoon, Marcus visits the school to see the murals. Tears fill his eyes as he watches his daughter paint alongside her classmates. "You turned their cruelty into beauty," he says softly. Maya smiles, streaks of paint on her cheeks. "We're not just telling our story anymore, we're telling everyone's." Meanwhile, Congress prepares for the final vote on the Dignity in Education Act. The nation holds its breath. News anchors call it one of the most significant civil rights bills of the decade. On the day of the vote, Marcus and Maya sit in the gallery of the House of Representatives, holding hands. Lawmakers rise, one by one, casting their votes. The final tally appears on the screen. Passed. The chamber erupts in applause. Maya's eyes widen, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Dad, we did it!" Marcus hugs her tightly. "No, baby girl, you did it." That night, Riverton explodes in celebration. Families flood the plaza, candles glowing brighter than ever. Fireworks streak across the sky. Chants echo through the city. "Not invisible, strong!" Maya stands in the center, head uncovered, her uneven hair now a crown of resilience. She whispers to herself, "They thought they cut me down, but they only helped me grow." And as the cameras capture her smile, the world realizes this was never just about hair. It was about dignity. And dignity had won. The passing of the Dignity in Education Act sends shockwaves through the nation. Newspapers call it a new civil rights milestone. Television anchors repeat the same words. One child's humiliation became the country's transformation. In Riverton, celebrations continue for days. The plaza stays lit with candles, families gather nightly to sing, and children march through the streets with banners. At the center of it all is Maya Coleman, the girl who once thought she was invisible. But for Maya, the weight of victory is complicated. At breakfast, she pushes her cereal around the bowl, avoiding her father's eyes. Marcus notices. "What's wrong, baby girl?" She shrugs. "Everyone keeps calling me a hero, but heroes aren't scared, and I'm still scared sometimes." Her mother leans over, cupping her face. "Heroes aren't fearless, Maya. Heroes act even when they are afraid." Marcus adds, "Do you know how many grown men I've seen crumble under pressure? You stood in front of thousands and spoke truth. That's bravery. Don't let anyone, including yourself, say otherwise." Maya nods slowly, comforted but still unsettled. Meanwhile, resistance stiffens. Critics flood television and online spaces, calling the new law unnecessary, burdensome, and a political stunt. Some blame Marcus directly, accusing him of using his FBI position to manipulate the system. Others attack Maya cruelly, mocking her appearance, her voice, even her bravery. Marcus reads the hateful posts late at night, fury boiling in his chest. He wants to respond, to shout them down, but then he looks at his sleeping daughter and realizes silence is his shield. Let them bark. The truth already won. At Riverton Middle, the changes begin immediately. Teachers undergo mandatory cultural training. The school unveils new guidelines ensuring that hairstyles, languages, and cultural expressions are respected. Students cheer when the principal announces, "No child will ever be punished for who they are again." Still, scars remain. Some students struggle with the attention, afraid their voices won't matter like Maya's. During recess, a boy confides to her, "I get teased for my accent, but I'm not brave like you." Maya smiles softly. "I wasn't brave at first either. I cried. I wanted to hide, but when I stood up, I realized the fear shrinks when you speak. You don't have to be me, you just have to be you." Her words spread quickly through the school, becoming another mantra. The fear shrinks when you speak. Meanwhile, the Coalition for Dignity in Education expands beyond Riverton. Chapters spring up in cities across the country. Parents host workshops, students organize rallies, and teachers begin rewriting classroom policies. The movement is no longer just about hair, it's about respect in every form. One evening, the coalition holds a massive rally in Washington. Families travel from across the nation, candles glowing against the Capitol skyline. Marcus stands on stage, his FBI badge gleaming in his pocket, but his voice is that of a father. "They tried to cut my daughter's pride. Instead, they cut open a wound this country ignored for too long. Tonight we declare, no child will be invisible again." The crowd thunders back. "Not invisible, strong." Then Maya takes the microphone, her voice carrying far beyond her years. "I thought my pain made me weak, but pain can also make you powerful. Don't let anyone take your voice, because your voice is your strength." The cheers are deafening. Reporters describe it as a moment that will be remembered for generations. But in the shadows, threats persist. Marcus receives another anonymous note. "We see your daughter. Heroes fall too." This time, he doesn't hide it. He shows it to his wife, who gasps in fear, but Marcus steadies her with determination. "They're trying to scare us, but fear only has power if we bow to it, and I will not bow." At school, Maya senses the tension in her parents but says nothing. Instead, she throws herself into helping others. She starts a small support group for kids who feel invisible. They meet during lunch, sitting in a circle, sharing their struggles. Maya listens, encourages, and reminds them, "Your story matters too." The group grows quickly. Soon dozens of students join, calling themselves the Strong Voices. They create posters, organize kindness campaigns, and even design bracelets with the words "Not Invisible." The principal, once overwhelmed by the chaos, now praises the group. "You've turned this school into a place of pride." National news picks up the story again. Anchors beam, "The girl who inspired a law is now inspiring children to lift each other up." But for Maya, it's not about headlines anymore. One afternoon, a shy girl with stuttered speech whispers, "Thank you, you made me feel like I belong." That single sentence means more than any law, any speech, any candlelit vigil. At home that night, Maya tells her father, "I don't want to just be remembered for what happened. I want to be remembered for what came after." Marcus hugs her tightly. "And you will be, because this isn't just your story. It's a story you gave to others." As Riverton glows with candlelight once more, one truth becomes clear. Arrogance thought it cut dignity. But dignity only grew stronger, and it spread like fire across the world. The Strong Voices Club grows faster than anyone expected. Within weeks, nearly every student at Riverton Middle wants to join. What began as a few kids sitting in a circle has become a movement inside the school. Teachers watch in awe as students who once stayed silent now speak up. The walls of the cafeteria, once echoing with cruel laughter, now display posters with bold letters, "Respect lives here." Maya becomes the unofficial leader, though she never asked for the role. At lunch meetings, she listens more than she speaks. Kids share their stories, being mocked for accents, clothes, stutters, or skin color. Every story adds fuel to the fire Maya lit. One boy, eyes downcast, admits, "They call me names because of my weight." Maya places a hand on his. "Then we'll call you by your name, and you'll never be invisible again." The group cheers, lifting him up. Slowly, Riverton Middle begins to change. Meanwhile, outside the school, the movement shows no signs of slowing. The Dignity in Education Act sparks reforms nationwide. Districts rewrite dress codes to respect cultural expression. Teacher training includes cultural sensitivity and anti-bias workshops. Parents feel empowered to demand accountability, but resistance hardens too. Online forums fill with angry voices mocking the Maya movement. Some schools drag their feet, refusing to implement the new standards. At one rally, counter-protesters shout, "It's just hair," holding signs of defiance. Marcus sees footage of the counter-protests on television. His fists clench, but Maya surprises him with calm. "Dad, if they're shouting, it means they're scared. And if they're scared, it means we're winning." Her words settle him, though the threats still gnaw at his heart. One night, Marcus drives Maya home from a meeting. As they pull into the driveway, he notices a piece of paper tucked under the windshield wiper. His stomach sinks. He unfolds it carefully. The words are scrawled in black ink. Strong voices get silenced. He shoves it into his pocket before Maya can see. Later, sitting in his study, he stares at it with cold fury. He knows arrogance doesn't surrender. It attacks when cornered. But he also knows his daughter has become a symbol too bright to dim. At school the next week, Maya faces another test. A substitute teacher, clearly unimpressed by the changes, sneers at the posters on the walls. What is all this nonsense? Respect doesn't come from signs. It comes from discipline. The students bristle, but Maya raises her hand calmly. Respect isn't nonsense. Respect is survival. That's why we built this. The substitute falters, caught off guard by the firmness in her tone. The class bursts into applause. Word spreads quickly. Students whisper, "She stood up to the teacher again." For Maya, it's no longer about one braid. It's about making sure no child is ever humiliated again. Meanwhile, national media continues to follow her story. Documentaries are announced, interviews requested. Her parents shield her as much as possible, but they also know her voice is needed. One evening, the family sits together in the living room, watching footage of another vigil in New York. Thousands of candles glow outside a courthouse. A reporter says, "The Maya movement has crossed state lines. It is now a national symbol of dignity." Maya leans against her father. "Dad, it doesn't feel like mine anymore. It feels like it belongs to everyone." Marcus kisses her forehead. "That's because it does. You gave it away, and that's what makes it powerful." But even as the movement grows, the Colemans struggle with the toll. Maya's grades slip slightly under the weight of constant attention. Her mother worries aloud, "She's only 12, she shouldn't carry this much." Marcus sighs. "She shouldn't, but she does, and we'll carry it with her." One Saturday, the coalition organizes a massive rally in Riverton Stadium. Tens of thousands gather, candles glowing, banners waving. Families travel from across the country, holding signs with Maya's words, "Not invisible, strong." The roar inside the stadium shakes the ground. Marcus takes the stage first, his voice booming. "They thought they cut down one child. Instead, they awakened millions. Tonight we declare this is no longer a story. It's a standard." The crowd erupts. Chants roll like thunder. "Not invisible, strong." Then Maya steps forward, her small frame illuminated by floodlights. She grips the microphone, her voice steady. "You told me I was a distraction, but now the whole world is paying attention. You tried to cut me down, but you only helped me grow, and every child here is proof. You can't cut dignity, you can only make it stronger." The stadium shakes with cheers, candles raised high, chants echoing for miles. News anchors declare, this was not just a rally, it was history. But in a quiet corner of the stadium, Marcus notices two men lingering, watching intently. Their expressions are cold, their presence unsettling. His instincts as an FBI agent flare. He knows the threats aren't empty. Later that night, as the family drives home, he keeps one hand near his firearm. He glances at Maya in the rearview mirror, her eyes bright with hope, her smile innocent. He whispers to himself, "They'll never touch her. Not while I live." Because arrogance still waits in the shadows. But dignity now fills the light, and the light is spreading too fast to stop. The rally at Riverton Stadium reverberates long after the last candle burns out. News outlets describe it as a turning point in American education. Clips of Maya declaring, "You can't cut dignity, you can only make it stronger." Flood timelines, played and replayed across the world. But behind the celebrations, unease grows. Marcus can't forget the two men he saw lingering in the shadows that night. Their eyes weren't those of supporters, They were watching with intent, like predators circling. His instincts scream danger. At home, he upgrades security measures, cameras around the house, reinforced locks, a close patrol with trusted colleagues from the bureau. His wife notices his tension. "Marcus," she whispers one night, "you're not just fighting for justice anymore, you're fighting enemies." He nods grimly. Arrogance doesn't just fade. When exposed, it retaliates. And we need to be ready. Meanwhile, Maya throws herself into her new role as leader of the Strong Voices. The group now spans beyond Riverton Middle, connecting with students in other schools through video calls and online forums. Kids share stories of courage, holding up bracelets that say "Not Invisible." One afternoon, Maya hosts a virtual meeting from her bedroom. Dozens of students appear on the screen. A girl from Texas says tearfully, "They laughed at me for wearing a headscarf." A boy from California adds, "My teacher said my name was too hard to pronounce. She told me to pick an American one." Maya listens intently. They can laugh, they can mock, but they can't erase you. Your name, your scarf, your story, it's yours. Don't let them throw it away. We'll stand with you. The screen fills with nods and smiles. Children across the nation realize they're not alone, but fame continues to weigh heavily. At school, Maya overhears whispers, "She thinks she's better than us now." Always on the news, the sting is sharp, but she remembers what she told others. Fear shrinks when you speak. She turns to the group and says calmly, "I don't think I'm better. I think we're all strong. That's why I speak, for all of us." Silence follows, then reluctant respect. Slowly, even her skeptics soften. Meanwhile, Washington prepares for the official signing of the Dignity in Education Act. The president announces a public ceremony on the White House lawn, inviting the Coleman family as honored guests. The day arrives with pomp and weight. Reporters swarm the lawn, cameras flashing as Maya, in a simple dress, stands beside her parents. The president signs the bill with a flourish, then turns to Maya. "This law carries your courage," he says, handing her the pen. "America owes you gratitude." Maya clutches the pen, overwhelmed. Applause rolls across the lawn. Commentators later call it the moment a child's pain rewrote a nation's promise. But as the cameras capture smiles, Marcus's eyes scan the crowd. He spots movement at the edge of the lawn. A man lingering too long, watching too closely. His FBI instincts flare again. Security moves quickly, escorting the stranger away. But Marcus knows the threats are tightening. That night, he sits with Maya on the porch. The pen rests in her lap. She whispers, "Dad, I'm scared again. Every time I think it's over, something new happens." He pulls her close. Courage doesn't mean fear disappears. It means you keep standing even when it stays, and you're still standing. She nods, leaning against him. The next week, Riverton hosts another vigil, this time celebrating the signing of the law. Thousands flood the streets again, candles glowing brighter than ever. Maya stands at the microphone, voice clear. "This isn't just a victory for me, it's for every kid who's been silenced. It's for every child who felt invisible. Tonight, we say to the world, you can't cut us down. We rise higher." The crowd erupts, chants thundering, "We rise higher! We rise higher!" But as the family leaves the vigil, a car creeps slowly down their street. The windows are tinted, the engine humming low. Marcus's eyes narrow, hand instinctively reaching for his weapon. The car pauses, then speeds off into the night. He doesn't tell Maya, but he knows one thing for certain. This fight isn't over. They've won a law, a movement, even a nation's heart. But arrogance doesn't die. It hides, waits, and strikes when least expected. Still, as Maya falls asleep that night, her bracelet glinting under the lamp, Marcus whispers a vow. "They can threaten, they can circle, but they'll never win. Not while you stand, not while I breathe." Because arrogance had scissors, but dignity now has a shield, and that shield is unbreakable. The White House ceremony cements Maya's place in history, but at home in Riverton, the reality of fame presses harder. Each morning, news vans still park outside the Coleman house, neighbors watch from porches, some smiling with pride, others whispering about the constant attention. Maya, now accustomed to cameras, tries to live as normally as possible. She still laughs with her friends, still stresses over homework, still doodles in the margins of her notebooks. But every time she walks into school, she feels the weight of eyes, admiration mixed with jealousy, support mixed with suspicion. One afternoon, during gym class, a student mutters, "She's just a kid," Why does she get all this attention? Maya hears it, but instead of shrinking, she walks over. I didn't ask for attention, she says calmly. I asked for respect, and I'll keep asking until everyone gets it. The gym falls silent, even the skeptic lowers his eyes. Meanwhile, Marcus tightens his guard. The threats have become too frequent to ignore. The tinted car, the letters, the men in the shadows, they're not coincidences. He meets privately with FBI colleagues. They're watching you, one warns. You've angered the wrong people. Some are extremists who see your fight as an attack on tradition. Marcus clenches his jaw. Then let them watch, but they won't touch my family. Security around the Coleman home doubles. But the pressure strains the family. Maya's mother confides one night, Marcus, I'm proud of what you've built, but our lives aren't normal anymore. She's 12. She deserves childhood, not constant threats. He takes her hand, voice heavy. I know, but we can't step back now. Too many children are counting on her. On us. Across the country, the Maya movement grows stronger. Vigils continue in city after city. Schools adopt the strong voices model. Children lead assemblies, sharing their stories. A boy in Chicago says, I was invisible, now I'm strong. His classmates chant the words back, echoing Riverton's mantra. But the backlash escalates too. On social media, trolls intensify their attacks. Some post edited photos mocking Maya, others spread rumors about Marcus. The cruelty seeps into their daily lives. One evening, Maya bursts into tears, shoving her phone away. Why do they hate me, Dad? Why do strangers want me to disappear? Marcus pulls her into his arms. Because you scare them. You're proof that even a child can change the world, and people who cling to arrogance can't stand change. But listen to me, you're not going to disappear. You're going to shine brighter. She sniffles, whispering, Even if I'm scared? Especially when you're scared, he replies. At school, Maya channels her fear into action. She organizes a new campaign, Dignity Week. Each day celebrates a different aspect of respect, culture, kindness, voice, identity. The halls buzz with energy as students decorate doors, share stories, and wear bracelets that say, Not invisible. Reporters flock to cover the event. One headline reads, From Victim to Visionary, Maya Coleman redefines school culture. During the closing assembly, Maya addresses the student body. We didn't do this for cameras. We did this for us. Because if we don't demand respect, no one will hand it to us, and we deserve it. Her classmates rise to their feet chanting, We deserve it, we deserve it. Teachers, once hesitant, join in. For the first time, Riverton Middle feels united. But Marcus remains uneasy. Late that night, while reviewing security footage, he notices the same tinted car circling the block again. He calls his FBI contact. They're testing us. It's only a matter of time before they act. His colleague replies grimly, Then be ready. They know your daughter isn't just a child anymore. She's a symbol, and symbols are targets. Marcus doesn't sleep that night. He sits by Maya's door, listening to her steady breathing, vowing silently to guard her at any cost. Meanwhile, Ms. Hargrove, the disgraced teacher, resurfaces again. This time, she files a lawsuit against the school, claiming wrongful termination. Her attorney argues she acted within her authority as a teacher. The case ignites fury nationwide. Supporters of Maya flood social media with outrage. Outside the courthouse, protesters chant, Not invisible, strong, as Ms. Hargrove enters with her lawyer. Inside, cameras flash, capturing her stony face. When asked for comment, Marcus simply says, She can sue for her job, but she can't sue away the truth, and the truth is on our side. The trial looms, threatening to drag Maya back into the spotlight she longs to escape, but Marcus knows they can't run. We face this, he tells his family. We finish what arrogance started. That night, Maya writes in her journal, They thought cutting my hair would make me small, but every time they try to break me, I get bigger, stronger, louder, and I won't stop. As she closes the notebook, she feels the weight of the world pressing down, but also the fire of a movement lifting her up. Because arrogance may plot in shadows, but dignity now stands in the light, and the light is too bright to fade. The lawsuit filed by Ms. Hargrove shakes Riverton like an aftershock. For weeks, the city had been basking in victory. The law passed, vigils spreading, schools changing. Now, the disgraced teacher threatens to drag everyone back into the darkness. News outlets swarm the courthouse steps. Headlines read, Fired teacher fights back. Talk show panels buzz with debate. Some argue she has a right to defend herself. Others say her arrogance has already written her fate. Inside the Coleman home, the atmosphere is tense. Maya sits at the kitchen table, her hands wrapped around a cup of hot cocoa. "Do we have to go to court?" she whispers. Marcus nods slowly. "Yes, because this isn't just about her job. It's about the truth. If we stay silent now, she'll twist the story. And we can't let her." Her mother adds firmly, "She cut your dignity, Maya. Now we'll cut her lies." The first day of the trial arrives. Protesters flood the courthouse plaza. Signs wave, "Protect our kids." Not invisible, strong. Cameras flash as Marcus and Maya walk inside hand in hand. Reporters shout questions, but Marcus keeps his eyes fixed forward. In the courtroom, Ms. Hargrove sits stiffly, flanked by her lawyer. She avoids Maya's gaze. Her attorney argues passionately, "My client acted within her rights as a teacher. She disciplined a student whose appearance disrupted learning. This case is about restoring fairness, not punishing authority." Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Then the school district's attorney rises. "Discipline is not humiliation. Authority is not cruelty. Cutting a child's hair without consent is not teaching, it is assault, and the evidence is clear." The video plays on the courtroom screen. Gasps echo as the footage shows Ms. Hargrove grabbing the scissors, Maya's desperate plea, the braid falling into the trash. Maya lowers her head, tears welling. Marcus squeezes her hand. The judge studies the footage grimly. The evidence is disturbing. This trial will not be about whether an action occurred, it will be about intent and accountability. Outside, the footage spreads again, reigniting outrage across the nation. Hashtags surge back to the top of social media. Hatch justice. For Maya, hashtag cut the lies, hatch not invisible. At school, classmates rally around her. They decorate hallways with posters. "Maya, we stand with you." Teachers wear bracelets that say, "Respect first." Even students who once resented her attention now whisper encouragement. One boy tells her quietly, "You're fighting for all of us. Don't give up." Back in court, Marcus testifies. He stands tall, voice steady but burning with controlled fury. "I am an FBI agent. I've investigated crimes across this country, but nothing prepared me for watching my own daughter's dignity cut with scissors. That was not discipline. That was hate, and we will not allow hate to hide behind authority." The courtroom erupts in murmurs of approval. When Maya takes the stand, the room falls silent. She grips the microphone, her voice trembling at first but growing stronger. "I loved my hair. It was part of me. When she cut it, I felt like she was saying I didn't belong. But now I know. I do belong. And no one can take that away again." Tears stream down faces in the gallery. Even the judge looks moved. Ms. Hargrove shifts uncomfortably, her arrogance cracking under the weight of Maya's words. The trial drags on for days, but the evidence is undeniable. Former students testify, sharing their own stories of humiliation at Ms. Hargrove's hands. A boy says, "She mocked me for my accent." A girl whispers, "She tore up my art in front of everyone." Each testimony paints a picture of cruelty stretching far beyond Maya's braid. The defense falters. Ms. Hargrove grows paler each day, her confidence eroding. Finally, closing arguments arrive. The school district's attorney declares, "This trial is not just about hair, it's about dignity. And today, we must decide if children deserve protection from arrogance disguised as authority." The jury deliberates. Hours feel like days. At last, the verdict is read. The court rules in favor of the district. Ms. Hargrove's actions were unjustifiable and harmful. Her termination stands. Cheers erupt outside the courthouse. Protesters weep with joy, chanting "Justice for Maya." Reporters rush to broadcast the news. Teacher loses appeal in historic case. Maya breathes deeply, relief washing over her. Marcus pulls her into a hug, whispering, "It's over. You stood tall and you won." But Maya shakes her head softly. "It's not over, Dad. It's just the beginning. There are more kids out there, kids who still feel invisible." Her words spread instantly, quoted on news broadcasts, printed in newspapers. Commentators declare, "The Maya movement isn't ending, it's only growing." That evening, Riverton holds another vigil, this one brighter than ever. Thousands pack the plaza, candles glowing, voices thundering. Maya stands at the microphone once more. "They thought they could erase me, but all they did was make me louder. And tonight I speak for every child who has ever been silenced. We are not invisible. We are strong, and we will never stop shining." The roar shakes the night sky. Candles flicker like stars. Because arrogance tried to win in court, but dignity walked out victorious. The verdict against Ms. Hargrove ripples far beyond Riverton. Newspapers call it a landmark moment for student dignity. Civil rights groups hail the ruling as proof that humiliation disguised as discipline will no longer stand unchallenged. But for the Colemans, life doesn't slow down. The courthouse victory only thrusts them deeper into the spotlight. Maya's face appears on magazine covers with headlines like "The Girl Who Changed Schools." Documentarians reach out, wanting to capture her story. Universities invite her to speak, though she's only 12. At home, the weight presses heavy. One evening, Maya curls up on the couch, clutching her pillow. "Dad, what if I'm not strong enough anymore? Everyone keeps expecting me to say something brave. What if I can't?" Marcus kneels beside her, his voice gentle but steady. Strength isn't about always knowing what to say. It's about standing even when your knees shake. And Maya, you've done that more times than most adults ever will. Her mother adds, "You don't have to carry this alone. This movement belongs to all of us now." Still, Marcus can't shake his unease. The threats haven't stopped. He still notices cars that slow near their house, letters slipped under doors, shadows that linger too long. The FBI investigates quietly, but no suspects are identified. One night, after tucking Maya into bed, Marcus sits with his wife on the porch. "She's 12 and already she has enemies. That's not fair." His wife squeezes his hand. "It's not fair, but she also has an army, and that's why she'll never stand alone." Meanwhile, Riverton Middle transforms before everyone's eyes and the Strong Voices Club expands, creating a permanent program supported by the district. Hallways are lined with murals painted by students, candles, braids, and the words "Respect Lives Here." During one meeting, a quiet boy confesses, "I thought about quitting school because of how much I was bullied. But when I saw Maya speak, I realized I could keep going." The group cheers, lifting him up. Maya smiles through tears. "That's why we're here. No one quits because of arrogance. Not anymore." News of the Strong Voices spreads nationally. Other schools replicate it, forming chapters in cities from Chicago to Atlanta. Before long, a network of students exists across the country, calling themselves the Maya generation. National media catches on. An anchor says, "This isn't just a movement, it's a generational shift led by children." But not everyone celebrates. On certain networks, commentators mock the Maya generation. One sneers, "We're letting kids run classrooms now." Another claims, "This is political theater, nothing more." Maya sees the clips online. For a moment, doubt creeps in. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm just a kid who got lucky. Marcus takes her hand firmly. "You're not lucky, Maya. You're brave. And bravery terrifies people who cling to arrogance. That's why they try to tear you down. But remember, truth doesn't need permission to stand." Her eyes shine again, resolve returning. Weeks later, Riverton hosts another massive rally. This time, it's not just local families. Delegations from across the country arrive, students, parents, teachers, even celebrities lending their voices. The plaza overflows with tens of thousands. The chants thunder, "Not invisible, strong. Respect is a right." On stage, Marcus speaks first. His FBI badge glints, but his words are those of a father. "They tried to silence one child. Tonight, look around you. They gave rise to a generation that won't bow, won't break, and won't be invisible." The crowd roars. Then Maya steps forward. Floodlights cast her in a halo. She grips the microphone, her small voice carrying farther than anyone expects. "You thought I was just one girl, but tonight I see thousands of me. Every child who ever felt small, tonight you are big. Every kid who thought they were invisible, tonight you shine. You can't cut us. You can't silence us. We are strong." The plaza shakes with cheers. Candles rise like stars. Reporters declare, "The Maya generation has arrived." But as the family walks off stage, Marcus notices something that chills him. In the far corner of the plaza, beyond the lights, a figure lingers, watching. He can't see the face, but he feels the intent. His FBI instincts scream, "This is no supporter." He places a protective arm around Maya. "Let's go home," he says quickly. That night, while Maya sleeps peacefully, Marcus sits awake, gun on the table beside him. He knows the movement has grown too powerful to be stopped, but he also knows arrogance is dangerous when cornered. Still, as he listens to his daughter's steady breathing, he whispers a vow into the darkness. They will not touch her. They will not dim her light, because she carries more than her own strength now. She carries a generation. And outside, the city of Riverton still glows with candlelight, proving one truth again and again: arrogance cuts in shadows, but dignity shines in the open, and tonight, it shines brighter than ever. The rally that birthed the phrase "the Maya generation" is still trending days later. Social media is flooded with videos of children chanting, candles glowing, and Maya's voice declaring, "Every child who thought they were invisible, tonight you shine." The footage is replayed on every network, etched into history. But inside the Coleman home, exhaustion begins to creep in. Maya juggles school, speeches, and the pressure of being the face of a movement. At breakfast, she pokes at her eggs, too tired to eat. Her mother frowns. "Baby, you need rest," Maya sighs. "What if people stop listening if I stop speaking?" Marcus sets down his coffee, his gaze steady. Movements don't end because one voice takes a breath. You've given people a megaphone. Even if you whisper, they'll still shout. Those words give her comfort, but she still feels the burden. Meanwhile, Riverton Middle evolves further. Strong Voices has become a cornerstone of school culture. Teachers incorporate dignity lessons into their curriculum. Students lead assemblies, proudly telling their stories. Murals cover walls, images of children standing tall, candles glowing, scissors breaking in half. One afternoon, Maya notices a shy girl sitting alone in the cafeteria. She approaches, smiling gently. "Want to sit with us?" The girl shakes her head. "They laugh at me because I wear secondhand clothes." Maya sits beside her anyway. "Then they'll laugh at me too, because I'm not leaving." Slowly, the girl smiles. Word spreads. Maya didn't just start a movement, she lives it. Nationally, the Maya generation explodes. Schools across the country create their own Strong Voices chapters. Students march in solidarity. Videos pour in. Kids in Detroit chanting "Not Invisible." Children in Texas holding signs that say "Strong." An anchor on national news remarks, "This isn't a protest anymore. This is culture rewriting itself from the ground up." But in the shadows, the threats sharpen. Marcus receives intelligence from the FBI. Extremist groups have been monitoring the family. One message intercepted reads, "Symbols fall hardest. She will too." The words chill him, but he doesn't tell Maya. Instead, he fortifies their home with more security. He knows arrogance, when cornered, becomes most dangerous. At the same time, Ms. Hargrove resurfaces again. Though she lost her case, she begins giving interviews on fringe networks, painting herself as a victim. "My life was ruined over a hairstyle," she insists. "This is mob justice." Her words spark debate, but most see through them. Former students continue to step forward, sharing stories of humiliation under her care. Her reputation is beyond repair, yet her bitterness fuels those who oppose the movement. One evening, the coalition hosts a national conference in Riverton. Families, educators, and activists from across the country gather. The stadium overflows once again. Marcus speaks with the authority of both father and federal agent. They thought dignity was optional. They thought children could be silenced. Tonight, look around you. Every voice here proves them wrong. The crowd roars, banners waving. Respect is a right. Then Maya steps forward, smaller than the podium but larger in presence. She takes a deep breath, voice clear. "They told me I didn't belong. They told me I was too loud, too proud, too different. But now I see thousands of faces proving them wrong. You can't erase us. You can't silence us. We are strong. We are the Maya generation. And we will never be invisible again." The stadium shakes with cheers. The chant rises. "Maya generation, Maya generation." The phrase trends worldwide. Commentators say, this is no longer about one child. It is about every child. Back home, however, Marcus notices the toll on Maya. She yawns during homework, struggles to focus. One night she breaks down in tears. "I'm so tired, Dad. What if I let everyone down?" Marcus holds her close, whispering, "Movements don't live or die on one person's shoulders. You gave the world a spark. Let it carry the flame. Rest, baby girl. You've earned it." But even as she rests, the threats loom larger. Marcus receives word of a potential plot targeting the next vigil. His blood runs cold. The FBI mobilizes quietly, setting up surveillance, preparing for the worst. On the night of the vigil, Riverton's streets glow with candles once more. Tens of thousands gather, chanting, Singing, standing tall, Maya walks with her parents hand in hand, unaware of the danger circling. Marcus's eyes scan the crowd constantly. Every shadow feels like a threat. He spots movement on a rooftop, signals his team. Agents swarm, detaining a man with binoculars and a concealed weapon. The threat is neutralized, but Marcus's heart pounds. He doesn't tell Maya, not that night. She stands on the stage, smiling, her voice ringing out, "We are not invisible. We are strong." The crowd thunders with her, candles blazing against the night sky. Marcus watches, pride and fear mingling. He knows the battle is far from over, but he also knows one truth is unshakable. Arrogance may plot in the shadows, but dignity now has an army in the light, and that light is spreading too far to stop. The thwarted attack at the vigil is never made public. The FBI releases only a vague statement about increased security measures, but Marcus knows the truth. Arrogance is growing more desperate. For every candlelit crowd, there's a shadow watching from the sidelines. At home, he wrestles with whether to tell Maya. She's already carrying so much, and he doesn't want her to live in fear. Yet part of him wonders if shielding her from the danger robs her of choice. That night, as she sits at the dining table drawing in her notebook, Marcus studies her face. She looks younger than the headlines portray, still a child, still innocent. He swallows his fear and says nothing. Meanwhile, Riverton itself thrives under the movement's glow. Businesses display signs reading, "We stand with Maya." Murals appear on walls, candles painted beside her words. Not invisible, strong. Tourists arrive just to see the plaza where the first massive vigil happened. The Strong Voices Club continues to expand nationwide. Videos flood social media of students in other schools chanting the same words Maya once whispered in trembling defiance. In Atlanta, kids paint their gym with her slogans. In Seattle, a choir sings her speech set to music. Across the world, children echo her strength. But fame also strains Maya's friendships. One afternoon, during recess, a girl she's known since kindergarten blurts out, "You're too busy being famous to even hang out with us anymore." Maya's heart sinks. "That's not true. I didn't ask for all this." Her friend shrugs, bitterness in her eyes. "Maybe not. But now you're different. And I miss when you were just Maya." The words sting. That night, Maya tells her father, "I don't want to lose my friends. I don't want to be different." Marcus hugs her tightly. "You're still Maya. The world may see a hero, but to me, you're just my baby girl. The ones who matter will remember that." But loneliness lingers. Meanwhile, Ms. Hargrove, though legally defeated, refuses to disappear. On fringe networks, she paints herself as a martyr. "I was destroyed for enforcing discipline," she insists. Extremist groups amplify her words, twisting them into fuel for their hatred. Marcus receives intelligence that her bitterness is attracting dangerous followers. The FBI advises him to relocate his family temporarily. "It's too hot," his supervisor warns. "You need distance." Marcus refuses. Running tells them we're afraid, and we're not. But privately, he lies awake at night, staring at the ceiling, listening for every sound outside. Amid the tension, the coalition announces a new initiative, the National Children's Summit, a gathering of students from across the country to share their voices. It will be held in Riverton, turning the city into a beacon once more. Excitement buzzes. News anchors call it the next chapter of the Maya generation. Parents book hotels months in advance. The plaza prepares for record crowds. Maya, however, feels the pressure more than anyone. She whispers to her mom one evening, "What if I say the wrong thing? What if I let them down?" Her mom kisses her forehead. "The only wrong thing is silence. Speak your truth, and you'll never let anyone down." The summit arrives. Riverton overflows with families, banners, and candles. The energy is electric. Children from all 50 states carry signs. "We are strong. Respect our voices. Maya generation." Marcus surveys the crowd, his FBI instincts sharp. Agents blend in, scanning rooftops, monitoring chatter. He knows this event is too big, too symbolic, not to draw attention from enemies. On stage, speakers line up. Students, teachers, parents, all telling their stories. Tears flow, cheers erupt, chants roll. The atmosphere is one of unity and fire. Finally, Maya takes the stage. The stadium hushes. She looks out at thousands of children holding candles, their faces glowing. She grips the microphone, her voice soft but steady. "I thought I was alone. I thought I was invisible, but now I see thousands of me, and I know. We are strong together. They can cut, they can mock, they can try to silence us, but they can't win. Because dignity always grows back, and tonight, it grows everywhere. The crowd roars, chanting her words. Cameras broadcast live to millions. Reporters declare, history is being written by children tonight. But as cheers echo, Marcus catches sight of movement in the distance. A man slips through the crowd. Too focused, too deliberate, agents converge quickly, tackling him before he reaches the stage. In his bag, they find weapons and propaganda tied to extremist groups. The public never knows how close the danger came. The FBI releases a vague statement again, crediting heightened security. But Marcus knows the truth, and it terrifies him. That night, back at home, he tucks Maya into bed. She's glowing with joy from the summit, unaware of the threat. As she drifts to sleep, Marcus whispers to himself, "They almost reached her, but they won't. Not while I breathe, because arrogance may scheme in shadows, but dignity is defended in the light." And tonight, the light burned brighter than ever. The National Children's Summit leaves Riverton buzzing for weeks. Videos of kids chanting, "Dignity always grows back," flood the internet, replayed in classrooms, churches, and community centers across the country. Commentators call it the largest youth-led demonstration since the civil rights era. But inside the Coleman household, Marcus can't shake the image of the man who nearly reached the stage. He replays the moment in his mind. The deliberate steps, the bag, the agents moving just in time. He doesn't tell Maya. He doesn't want to dim the joy still glowing in her eyes. But at night, he barely sleeps. His wife notices the exhaustion. "You're carrying this alone, Marcus," she says softly one evening. "I have to," he mutters. "They're targeting her. I can't let her feel that weight." She takes his hand. "Then at least let me carry it with you." Meanwhile, Maya continues to inspire. Strong Voices clubs connect through video conferences, forming a nationwide network. Kids from different states share ideas for projects, kindness campaigns, cultural pride days, assemblies about respect. Maya attends as many calls as she can, smiling at faces from across the country. One boy in Oregon says, "Before, I hated going to school. Now I started a Strong Voices club and we have 30 members. We even convinced our teachers to let us lead a lesson." Maya beams. "See, that's what this is about. Not me, you." Her humility endears her even more. News anchors call her a reluctant leader with unstoppable impact. But the darker side of fame persists. Trolls intensify online attacks, some even posting doctored images of Maya. One night, she stumbles across a cruel meme mocking her hair. Tears fill her eyes. Marcus finds her curled up in bed, phone clutched to her chest. "Why are they so mean, Dad?" she whispers. He sits beside her, brushing her hair gently. "Because you scare them. You remind them that even a child has more courage than their hate. That's why they try to break you. But listen to me. They can't touch your worth. Not with memes, not with lies." She sniffles but nods. "Then I'll keep standing. Even if they laugh." At school, she puts her words into action. During a Strong Voices meeting, she tells her peers, "They can mock me all they want, but we don't fight cruelty with cruelty. We fight it with strength, with kindness. That's what makes us different." Her classmates cheer, chanting strength with kindness. Meanwhile, the FBI quietly monitors threats. Marcus receives another briefing. Extremist chatter is increasing. "They see your daughter as a symbol," an agent warns. "Symbols attract danger." Marcus stiffens. "Then we'll be ready." But deep down, fear gnaws at him. One weekend, the family attends a community celebration at Riverton Plaza. The atmosphere is festive. Music, food, children running with candles. Maya laughs with friends, her uneven hair now grown longer, braided neatly again by her mother. For a moment, Marcus lets himself relax. He watches her smile, thinking maybe, just maybe, life is normal again. Then he spots a familiar shape, a car idling too long at the curb, tinted windows reflecting candlelight. His body stiffens. He signals discreetly to nearby agents. The car speeds away before they can approach. The celebration continues, the crowd oblivious. But Marcus's mind races. He knows this isn't coincidence. Someone is watching, waiting. Later that night, after Maya is asleep, he sits alone on the porch, gun on the table beside him. He whispers into the quiet, "You'll never touch her. Not while I breathe. Meanwhile, Maya dreams of the summit. In her sleep, she murmurs, "We are strong." Across the country, children repeat the same words. Schools adopt new policies. Teachers report fewer bullying incidents. The Maya generation isn't just a slogan anymore, it's a shift, reshaping classrooms and communities. But in the shadows, plans tighten. A group online shares images of Riverton's plaza, discussing routes and times. Their words drip with venom. If we silence her, the movement falls. The FBI intercepts the chatter, alerting Marcus. He reads the report, fury burning in his chest. He knows the threats are real, but he also knows one truth. The movement has grown too large to be silenced. Even if enemies strike, dignity has already taken flight. Still, he prepares. He increases security for Maya's school, installs reinforced doors at home, keeps his firearm close at all times. Every day he scans the horizon, determined to stay one step ahead. And through it all, Maya keeps shining. She writes in her journal one night, "They thought cutting my hair would make me small, but every day I feel bigger. Not because of me, but because of everyone who stands with me." Maybe bravery isn't about not being scared. Maybe it's about standing anyway. She closes the notebook, her resolve clear. Because arrogance may lurk in shadows, but dignity is marching in the open, and the march is too loud to silence. Riverton wakes up different these days. The plaza, once just a public square, has become sacred ground. Families bring children to see where the first vigil was held. Tourists take photos beside the murals, and candles never stop burning. The city glows with memory and promise. For Maya, though, normalcy feels further away than ever. She still does homework, still plays board games with her mom, but every step outside comes with cameras or strangers recognizing her. Some smile warmly, others just stare. One afternoon at the grocery store, a woman kneels beside her. "Thank you," she whispers, tears in her eyes. "My daughter wears her hair proudly now because of you." Maya smiles politely, but inside she feels torn. Part of her is proud. Another part just wants to be Maya again, an ordinary girl, not a symbol. At school, the Strong Voices Club thrives. Hundreds of students participate, filling the auditorium with chants and posters. But Maya notices tension too. Some kids whisper about jealousy. A classmate complains, "Everything is about Maya. What about the rest of us?" Maya hears it, and it stings. That night she tells her father, "I never wanted this to just be about me." Marcus nods. Movements always start with one face, but they grow when others see themselves in it. You're not the whole story. You're just the spark. Don't let envy dim that fire. His words help, but doubt still lingers. Meanwhile, the FBI intercepts more threats. Plans are uncovered. Groups discussing attacks at future rallies, posting Maya's photo with venomous captions. Marcus reads every report, rage boiling. He tells his supervisor, "They see a child as a target. That tells you how weak they really are." Still, he knows weakness can be deadly. The coalition presses forward. They announce the first National Day of Dignity, a coordinated event where schools across the country will hold assemblies, marches, and vigils on the same day. The idea electrifies the nation. News anchors call it a new holiday born from a child's courage. Excitement fills Riverton. Students prepare banners, teachers rehearse lessons, families organize carpools to the plaza. The city prepares for its largest crowd yet, but Marcus can't shake the fear. He increases coordination with law enforcement, arranges undercover agents, and briefs his family. His wife, worried, asks, "Marcus, what if it's too dangerous for Maya?" He shakes his head. "She has to be there. She is the day of dignity, but I'll be watching every shadow." The day arrives. From dawn, Riverton pulses with life. Streets overflow with people carrying candles and signs. Choirs sing, drums beat, children march proudly. The air hums with chants, not invisible, strong. Across the country, the same scenes unfold. Students in New York filling streets, children in Texas holding vigils, kids in California painting murals. News coverage stitches the images together, showing a nation united by one message. In Riverton Plaza, the energy peaks. Tens of thousands stand shoulder to shoulder, candles glowing even in daylight. The stage is set with banners reading, "Dignity is forever." Marcus scans the crowd constantly, eyes sharp, hand near his weapon. He trusts his team, but he knows danger hides where celebration is loudest. On stage, Maya steps forward. The crowd hushes instantly. She looks out at a sea of faces, Children, parents, teachers, strangers, all waiting. She grips the microphone, her voice steady. They tried to cut me down. They thought I was small. But look around you. Look at how big we are now. This isn't my story anymore. This is our story. Every voice, every candle, every child standing here tonight is proof. We are not invisible. We are strong. And dignity will always rise. The plaza shakes with thunderous cheers. Chants roll, always rise, always rise. Tears stream down faces. Parents lift children onto their shoulders. Reporters describe it as a generational declaration. But as the cheers swell, Marcus spots movement near the edge of the plaza. A man pushes against the crowd, hand slipping into his jacket. Marcus's instincts fire like lightning. He signals his team, charging forward. The man is subdued quickly, agents tackling him to the ground. A concealed weapon clatters onto the pavement. The crowd gasps, some screaming, but order is restored before panic spreads. On stage, Maya remains calm, unaware of how close the danger came. She raises her candle high, repeating, "We rise higher!" The chant roars louder than before, drowning out fear. Later at home, Marcus finally confides in his wife. "It happened again. They almost reached us." She covers her mouth in shock. "Marcus!" He shakes his head by "Ch. They won't stop. But neither will we." That night, as Maya writes in her journal, she pens the words, "They wanted me to fall. But every time they push, I rise higher. Not because I'm fearless, because I'm not alone." She closes the notebook, her resolve stronger than ever. Because arrogance may strike from the shadows, but dignity rises in the light. And now, the light belongs to a generation. The first National Day of Dignity goes down in history books before the candles have even cooled. Newspapers call it a children's revolution. Networks broadcast montages of kids chanting from coast to coast, their voices rising together like a chorus. Commentators declare, this is no longer a movement, it's a legacy in motion. For Maya, however, life feels split in two. At school, she's still a 7th grader with math homework and cafeteria lunches. At home and in public, she's the girl whose words shake cities. She struggles to balance both worlds. One afternoon, she tells her mother, "Sometimes I feel like two Mayas. One just wants to read books and laugh with friends. The other has to stand on stages and speak for everyone." Her mother strokes her cheek gently. "You don't have to choose. Both Mayas are real. Both are strong." Meanwhile, the FBI continues to track threats. Marcus attends late-night briefings where agents show intercepted messages. Some extremists are furious that their plots failed. One chilling note reads, "She keeps rising. Next time, we'll make sure she falls." Marcus's jaw tightens. "Then we'll make sure they don't get a next time." The tension weighs on him, but he hides it from Maya. To her, he remains calm, steady, unshakable. The coalition, energized by the success of the Day of Dignity, announces a bold new initiative, the Children's Bill of Rights. Drafted by lawyers and inspired by students' voices, it calls for protections in every school, against bullying, humiliation, discrimination, and neglect. The proposal electrifies the country. Families rally behind it, holding marches, signing petitions, flooding lawmakers with calls. Reporters call it the natural next step of the Maya generation. But opposition hardens too. On talk shows, critics sneer, "We're letting kids write laws now?" Others accuse Marcus of manipulating the movement for personal gain. Online trolls intensify their attacks, spreading lies and doctored videos. Maya sees some of the posts and frowns. "Dad, why do they lie about us?" Marcus kneels, meeting her eyes. "Because lies are easier than facing the truth. But lies crumble when the truth keeps shining. And you, Maya, you shine brighter than any lie." Her smile returns, small but real. At Riverton Middle, the Strong Voices Club plans its biggest project yet, a mural stretching across the gymnasium wall. Students sketch designs, candles, children holding hands, scissors broken on the ground. At the center, they paint Maya's words in bold letters, "Not invisible, strong." The unveiling draws reporters and parents. As the cloth drops, gasps fill the room. The mural blazes with color, a permanent reminder of resilience. Maya whispers to a friend beside her, "It's not about me, it's about all of us." But her friend smiles. "Yeah, but you lit the match." Nationally, the Children's Bill of Rights moves forward. Congress schedules hearings. Maya and Marcus are invited to testify again. The invitation excites Maya but terrifies Marcus. Each public step means more exposure, More danger. That night he discusses it with his wife. She's just a kid. How much more can we ask of her? His wife replies firmly, she's not doing it because we asked. She's doing it because she believes in it. That's her strength. The hearing day arrives. Maya wears a simple dress, her hair braided neatly. Cameras flash as she walks into the Capitol with her parents. Lawmakers rise when she enters, treating her not as a child but as a leader. When it's her turn to speak, she grips the microphone, her voice steady. I didn't choose this. I didn't want to be humiliated in front of my class, but since it happened, I won't let it be wasted. Every child deserves dignity. Every child deserves respect. That's what this is about. Not me, all of us. The chamber fills with applause. Lawmakers wipe their eyes. Reporters declare, a child just gave Congress its clearest voice. Afterward, Marcus hugs her tightly. You were brilliant. Maya smiles. I was just honest. But outside, as the family walks to their car, Marcus spots a man across the street watching them too intently. Agents intercept him, discovering surveillance equipment in his bag. Another near miss. That night, Marcus can no longer hide his fear. He sits Maya down and tells her gently, Baby, some people out there want to stop you. They see your light and it scares them. That's why I've been so protective. Maya listens, eyes wide, then nods slowly. So what do we do? Marcus pulls her into a hug. We keep standing, we keep shining, and we never let fear win. Maya whispers, then let's be louder. If they're scared of my voice, I'll make it so loud they can't escape it. Her words ignite something in him. He realizes she isn't just his daughter anymore, she's a leader in her own right. That weekend, at Beaton, Riverton holds another vigil. The plaza glows brighter than ever, candles stretching for blocks. Maya takes the stage, her voice fierce. They thought fear would silence us, but fear is fuel. And tonight, we burn brighter because of it. We are not invisible. We are strong, and no shadow can hide the truth forever. The roar that follows shakes the night, because arrogance may whisper threats, but dignity now thunders across the nation. And the thunder is only growing louder. The push for the Children's Bill of Rights dominates headlines for weeks. Newspapers call it the most ambitious child protection legislation in decades. Some lawmakers embrace it wholeheartedly. Others hesitate, but no one can deny the momentum. In Riverton, the plaza once again becomes the heart of the movement. Families gather nightly, holding candles and chanting Maya's words. Tourists arrive from across the country to stand where it all began. Murals expand across the city, each more colorful and powerful than the last. For Maya, life feels surreal. One morning, she opens her textbook to find her own photo printed in a sidebar about modern civil rights. Dad, she gasps, showing him the page. I'm in the history book. Marcus smiles, pride and worry mixing in his eyes. You've already made history, baby girl. Now it's being written down. But the weight of it grows heavier. During lunch at school, a boy mutters, she thinks she's in charge of everything. Maya feels the sting but forces herself to respond calmly. I don't want to be in charge. I want us all to be heard. Some nod in agreement, others stay silent. She realizes not everyone will follow, but enough already do. Meanwhile, the threats intensify. FBI briefings reveal chatter from extremist groups furious at Maya's influence. One intercepted message reads, "Symbols fall hardest. She must fall." Marcus listens, jaw tight, fists clenched. His supervisor warns, "The bigger this gets, the more dangerous it becomes. Are you prepared for that?" Marcus doesn't hesitate. "I'll protect her with my life." The coalition presses forward, announcing a march on Washington to demand passage of the Children's Bill of Rights. The announcement electrifies supporters. Commentators compare it to historic marches of the past. Preparations begin immediately. Buses are chartered, hotels booked, signs printed. Families across the country make plans to travel to D.C., children eager to carry candles on the steps of the Capitol. At home, Maya feels both nervous and excited. "Dad, what if no one shows up?" Marcus chuckles. "Baby girl, look around. They've been showing up since the first candle was lit, and this time they'll show up by the thousands." The day of the march arrives. Washington, D.C. overflows with people. Streets choke with families holding candles and banners. Reporters estimate hundreds of thousands, one of the largest gatherings in recent history. The air hums with anticipation. Maya stands at the front with her parents looking out at the sea of faces. Her heart pounds, but she breathes deep. "This is bigger than me," she whispers. Marcus squeezes her hand. "And because it's bigger than you, it will last." On the steps of the Capitol, speakers line up. Students, parents, activists, each tells their story, fueling the fire. The crowd cheers, chants rolling like thunder. Then Maya steps forward. Cameras flash, drones buzz overhead, millions watch live. She grips the microphone, voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. "They tried to make me small. They thought cutting my hair would cut my worth. But tonight, look around you. We are not small, we are massive. We are not silent, we are thunder. And we will not stop until every child in every classroom feels dignity. This is not my fight alone. This is our fight. And together, we rise higher." The crowd erupts. Chants roar. "We rise higher! We rise higher!" Tears stream down faces. Parents lift children onto their shoulders. Reporters declare, "The Maya generation just shook Washington." But even as the cheers echo, Marcus scans the crowd, instincts sharp. His eyes catch on a man near the edge, moving differently, calm where everyone else is frantic. Agents close in quickly, detaining him before he can act. In his backpack, they find plans, weapons, and chilling notes targeting Maya. The public never knows the danger. The FBI issues a bland statement about ensuring safety, but Marcus knows how close it was. He spends that night awake, gun within reach, whispering prayers of gratitude. Maya, unaware of the narrow escape, writes in her journal, "They thought fear would stop me. But fear only makes me louder. They thought shadows could hide me. But candles always win against darkness, and tonight the whole world carried candles." The next morning, newspapers across the globe carry images of the march. One headline reads, "Children demand dignity on Capitol steps." Another declares, "The Maya generation has a voice in Washington. Lawmakers can no longer ignore the bill." Hearings accelerate, debates intensify, and momentum builds. At home, Maya sits with her parents on the porch. "Dad," she says quietly, "do you think we'll really win this?" Marcus looks at her, his eyes steady. "We've already won, Maya. Every candle, every chant, every child who feels stronger because of you, that's victory. The law is just the proof." She leans against him, comforted. Because arrogance may plan attacks, but dignity just filled the nation's capital. And once dignity takes the stage, it cannot be pushed back into silence. The March on Washington shakes the nation. For weeks afterward, news anchors replay the chants, the candles, and Maya's voice echoing across the Capitol steps. Commentators call it the defining moment of a generation. Congress can no longer delay. The Children's Bill of Rights moves rapidly through committees, fueled by the pressure of millions. Parents flood lawmakers' offices with calls. Children mail letters covered in crayon drawings of candles and braids. The momentum is unstoppable. In Riverton, the plaza glows every night, candles burning in solidarity until the vote. Maya watches the coverage on television, curled up on the couch. Her father sits beside her, arms crossed, eyes sharp. "Dad," she whispers, "what if they say no?" Marcus leans closer. "Then we keep marching. But something tells me they've already heard you." The day of the vote arrives. The nation holds its breath. On the House floor, lawmakers rise one by one, casting their votes. Reporters whisper updates into cameras, tension mounting. Finally, the tally flashes on the screen. Passed. The chamber erupts in applause. Tears stream down faces. Across the country, cheers echo in living rooms, classrooms, and plazas. At the Coleman home, Maya leaps into her father's arms. "We did it!" she cries, tears streaking her cheeks. Marcus holds her tightly, his own voice breaking. "No, baby girl, you did it." That night, Riverton explodes in celebration. Tens of thousands flood the streets, candles glowing brighter than fireworks in the sky. Choirs sing, drums pound, chants roll like thunder. Not invisible, strong. On stage in the plaza, Marcus speaks first. His voice booms with pride. They tried to cut one child's dignity. Instead, they cut open a nation's heart. And tonight, that heart beats with justice. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of dignity for every child. The crowd roars. Then Maya steps forward. The plaza hushes. She grips the microphone, her voice clear and strong. "I was 12 years old when someone told me I didn't belong. I thought I was small. I thought I was invisible. But every candle you hold tonight proves I was never invisible. None of us are. They can cut hair, but they can't cut dignity. They can try to silence us, but they only made us louder. And now, because of all of you, children everywhere will walk into classrooms knowing they are respected. The roar that follows shakes the ground. Parents lift children high on their shoulders. Tears stream down faces. The chant rises again, not invisible, strong. Cameras beam the image worldwide. Commentators declare, from humiliation to history, the Maya generation has won. But for Marcus, the victory is also deeply personal. He remembers the first day he saw the video of his daughter's hair falling into the trash, her tears shining on the screen. Now he watches her stand tall, candles blazing around her, a nation chanting her words. His chest swells with pride, and for the first time in months, his fear eases. At home later, the family sits together in quiet relief. Maya leans against her father, whispering, "Do you think people will remember me when I'm older?" Marcus smiles softly. "They won't just remember you. They'll remember what you stood for, and that will never fade." Her mother adds gently, "One day other children will read about you in their history books, and they'll know they belong because you stood tall." Maya smiles sleepily. Then it was worth it. As she drifts to sleep, Marcus whispers to his wife, "She carried the world on her shoulders and never let it break her. She's stronger than any of us knew." The next morning, the newspapers confirm it. Children's Bill of Rights becomes law. Photographs of Maya holding a candle fill the front pages. Across the country, schools ring bells, children cheer, and teachers begin implementing new protections. The movement has become more than a moment. It has become law, culture, and legacy. In Riverton Plaza, the final vigil burns brighter than ever. Tens of thousands stand in silence, candles raised high. The coalition leaders declare, "From this day forward, the first week of March will be remembered as the week of dignity." The crowd cheers, fireworks burst, and the chants echo one last time. Not invisible, strong, because arrogance thought it could cut down one child, but instead it lifted a generation, and dignity, once denied, took flight forever.